Hello everyone, so today I am here to do a video that has been very highly requested, so I was like, might as well actually film this when I am going to be doing this. And that is basically an annotate with me, and I'm going to be doing it for the first chapter or two, because I'm pretty sure the chapters are pretty small, of Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I have made two previous videos about how I annotate, but recently a lot of people have been asking me to like literally sit down and like read with you guys and tell you exactly like what I'm thinking and how I do my annotations, like live almost. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you haven't watched those previous videos, basically I do annotate books very differently based on what they are. This I will be annotating in my way that I've been annotating classics recently that haven't been for school. So basically I've been reading a lot more classics in the last year, and I go into a lot of them not knowing very much, because like when I'm in a class and I'm reading classics, obviously they're like, oh, look for this theme, look for this, oh, pay attention to this. But a lot of classics I've been picking up recently, I don't really know much about, so I don't have a surefire like, this is what I'm looking for when I'm annotating. So today I'm going to be annotating this similarly to other classics that I've annotated, but let me just really quickly show you guys the different types of annotations that I've done. So one of my favorite types of annotations are the ones that are on reread. So these are two books that were two of my favorite books in the past couple of years, and so I reread them, and that's how I annotate them, is I'm specifically like looking for things, and they usually have some sort of a key to them. Like with Imaginary Friend, even the highlight colors within the book mean something. So I have a full key at the front of the book for what each thing is. So yeah, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's just like, you know, foreshadowing. In this book, it's, you know, deer, real versus not real, quotes, important points. And then also, obviously, I feel like something that I do a little bit differently than a lot of people is my post-it note annotation style. I write down things on post-it notes and stick them in the books rather than like writing in the books, but sometimes I also write in the books. It completely depends. And then there's also just simple tabbing. I'm reading this book for the first time and I found some quotes that I liked, so I underlined them and stuck some tabs in. This is probably the annotation style that most people do, is just, this was impactful to me, this made me cry, this made me happy, I want to remember this quote or this scene, and you just underline it, highlight it, circle it, whatever, and stick a tab in. I also do that pretty often, not as often. I usually do go into a book knowing that I want to annotate it. So the way that I will be annotating Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky is the same as I did Bleak House and The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Basically, while reading these books, I found parts that I thought were interesting or enjoyed, or, you know, just wanted to remember, or I thought would come in handy at some point in something, I don't know, and I underlined it, and then at the very end of the book I go back and I tab it. Like, I put all my tabs in at the end of the book. I actually usually do that. It's very rare for me to actually like sit there with tabs and like put tabs in as I go. I don't know why, but yeah. And The Idiot is a book that I had no clue what it was about when I went into it, and the reason that I put all the tabs and stuff in at the end, and I honestly just sit there and I dog ear stuff as I go, again, so like if I find something that I think is a good quote or whatever, or something that I'm noticing is happening a lot, I just underline it with a pen. You can see that? Pen. And then I dog ear the page. And then at the very end of the book, I go back, I look at all of the different quotes, and I see basically what can my key be. And then I make a key at the end of the book and then put in all of the different tabs. So it's like opposite of what I do with rereads, that I already know what I'm gonna kind of be looking for. This, I do all of it at the end, because while I'm reading, I don't really know what I'm looking for. I usually am able to figure it out pretty quickly, but still, that's how I've been annotating classics, because I just find that this works the best, because I definitely want to have keys and stuff, because I want to be able to find things easier, but I also don't know what I'm going to be looking for. There are certain classics that don't have any sort of key, so I have the Brothers Karamazov and Don Quixote, which neither of these have keys. They are just simply throwing in tabs. And these are honestly books I just didn't have as much to really think or say about, which is funny because they're gigantic. But these were both books I read, I thought they were fine, and I wanted to keep track of some of my thoughts and some of the quotes and stuff, and that was all that I was annotating. It wasn't that deep, I guess. So today what we're going to be doing is Crime and Punishment, and again, I think I'm going to read up till chapter 3. It's like 25 pages, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to tell you guys exactly how I'm deciding what to annotate. I'm probably just going to be using a pen and some sticky notes, and that's about it. So this is how I annotate classics. Maybe I'll make this a series. Maybe my next time I will do how I annotate rereads or something like that, if you guys enjoy this. I have no clue. I don't think this video is going to turn out very well, so that's why I've been hesitant to do it. But yeah, if you guys think this is interesting and want another one, maybe I'll make it a little series. But yeah, so I'm going to go sit down and I'm going to turn on my camera and we're going to sit down and read Crime and Punishment, the first 25 pages, and I will tell you guys what I'm thinking about as I'm reading. Alright, I'm on my couch. I have my cat, I have my burrito blanket, and I have my book, my pen, and my sticky notes. Let's see how this goes. I still think it's just so funny that people actually want to see me do this. So, let's go. We're starting on chapter 1. So one thing is specifically with Dostoevsky and Russian literature, I'm sure a lot of people feel this, Russian names are very difficult to keep track of for me, so I do usually sit here and like circle any proper nouns, so like places or names. So that's in the first paragraph. I have 2 places, so I'm gonna circle them. Okay, wow, this is so weird. I don't know how to say my thought process. But like, okay, so there's this sentence. The first sentence of the book says, on an exceptionally hot evening early in July, a young man came out of the garret in which he lodged in S Place, circled, and walked slowly as though in hesitation towards K Bridge. I underlined and walked slowly as though in hesitation because that feels like foreshadowing to me. Because I'm wondering, what is he hesitating about? Why did the author decide to point out that he seems to be hesitating? So I underlined that. This is so weird. Alright, so in the second paragraph, I'm underlining a couple of things. I'm honestly going to probably just make a bracket over the entire paragraph like that, because honestly, I'm just gonna write in the margins relatable. This isn't a time that I would need a full sticky note because it's just one word, so I'm going to write it in the margin. But he's talking about like feeling really indebted to this lady who's being super nice to him. And I'm also going to be underlining, and each time he passed, the young man had a sick, frightening feeling which made him scowl and feel ashamed, because this is some characterization of this man, who we still haven't have a name for, so. Wow. Okay, yeah, see, this is why I decided to do the first chapter of a book, because first off, no spoilers, but also the first chapter always has a lot that I'm going to underline. I'm gonna just go through this really quick, and then I'll explain at the end of the page what I'm doing. Alright, so I underlined a ton on this first page. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not someone who actually highlights and underlines like everything, like highlighters are going out of style. I don't usually do that, but this first page, again, I had no clue what Crime and Punishment was about, so hey, if you want a good quarantine book, this man just is very relatable, and there's a lot of characterization, and again, I don't know who he is, I don't know if he's our main character, but I always enjoy underlining characterization and stuff, but also he's just very relatable, because basically all he's talking about is being really scared to meet people and go outside, and a lot of his fears and things like that. And I don't know, it kind of reminds me of how I'm feeling right now leaving my house during the pandemic. So yeah, this is currently page 1, annotations. Wow, lots of underlining. Okay, now we're on to page 2. Wow, this is a long process. Alright, in this next page, the first things I underlined, or actually I circled, is he keeps referring to something that the reader doesn't know what it is. He's just calling it that. So I circled those because I don't know what that is. Alright, so in this next paragraph, I circled where they are. They're in Petersburg. And also I bracketed this part because it kind of describes what this city is like, and something that I love about translated literature from places that I'm not from, because obviously I'm not from Russia, is learning about what those places are like. So I usually annotate kind of what the setting is like, so I did that. Alright, okay, I just did a bigger section because I was like, I don't know how to do this. So, yeah, I kept underlining, or like, I kept circling things I didn't understand, like, what he was talking about. Like, again, he's kind of, it's like we're dropped in the middle of his story, so he's not explaining everything to us. So there's certain things that I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about, so I circled them. Like, he's like, oh, that would give them a clue. And I'm like, a clue to what? What are you doing? I also underlined basically any time he was getting scared, or he was like didn't want to talk to anyone, just because, again, that seems to be a big part of his character just from the first 3 pages. And again, just kept underlining things that had to do with his characterization. So here is these pages. There you go. Hi, Ben. How are you? You haven't been in the videos for a while. Want to say hello? Ben. Hi, baby. Are you guys with me? Okay. There you go, baby. Alright, now we have a cat. This is a good vlog, Ben. Good job. Maybe I will just do the first chapter because this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Alright, so on this page we got a new character. We have an old woman who she got like a lengthy description to her, so I'm assuming she's important, so I underlined her description. We also got the name of the man, or at least what we think is the name. We can't really trust him now, can we? So as I get further into this, it's becoming pretty obvious that this man is planning some sort of crime. So now I'm starting to underline things that make that pretty obvious, such as the sentence, and with a rapid glance he scanned everything in the room, trying as far as possible to notice and remember its arrangement. So now I'm underlining that kind of stuff. Yeah, the only thing that I know going into this book is it's obviously about crime, but it's mostly about like who deserves to be punished and who gets to determine the punishments, I'm pretty sure. So obviously I'm kind of looking for stuff along those lines because I know that that's part of this book. Okay, so in the last couple of pages, again, I found some new characters, so I circled their names if they came up, just to be able to keep track of those, as well as on these pages, mostly it was just plots and stuff, but again, I kind of, I kept marking parts where it's obvious, like he's kind of plotting something, like I don't know who this character is, can we trust him, all of that, and also this like weird self-hatred that he has, that he keeps describing at length. And then again, we have another kind of new character who's a little bit especially screaming, and that's the end of chapter 1. So that is how I annotate. I don't know if this was helpful at all, but yeah, it's just basically I take a book, don't know much about it, so I go into it and I just underline, highlight whatever kind of seems interesting to me, or I like, or I think might come back eventually. So foreshadowing, characters, characterizations, and again trying to kind of figure out the setting, and especially like I just enjoy learning more about the countries that I'm reading about, so I enjoy marking the setting and also trying to figure out kind of what the plot is, because a lot of classics, at least I find, it very much just drop you into the midst of things. So yeah, those are my annotations for the first 10 pages of this. I hope this somehow helped someone out there with annotating. I don't know. A lot of people have been asking for this video, and I just don't know if it works because I don't know how to like explain what my brain is doing. I have 2 English degrees. My brain just does these things. So yeah, that's how I annotate. This is how I annotate classics, how I annotated the first 10 pages of Crime and Punishment. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I love you all, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!